So yeah, just a few slides to go through, pretty much like we do. I'm expecting everyone on the stream knows Google My Business. I don't want to sort of cover off some of the basics. I think probably people will be familiar with, but let's just sort of put a bit of context in it. I mean, in my opinion, Google My Business is a #1 marketing strategy for local businesses. I think it's the top one. It does vary by niche, whatever you want to call it, in terms of its level of importance. But I think by and large, on average, it's the most powerful local marketing strategy, certainly among the top ones. And I think it's particularly important because so many searches on Google these days are local. And when people searching for local keywords, local services, if they want an emergency plumber, you can bet they're going to buy a service very quickly. So Google My Business is one of those excellent tools which you can use alongside your organic SEO and other techniques to target that high purchase intent. Obviously, it's great because if you can get them to rank organically, they rank just below the ads, but above the regular organic search results. So they get pride of place. And I think Google My Business is something that's trusted as well. A lot of people going straight into the Google My Business and then going straight to click to call, or they're going straight into the website, not necessarily even going further on than that. So because of the star ratings and Google's investing so much in the platform, I think it really leads to high conversion rates and a lot of click-through. So a great thing to be working on, not only if you're obviously working with local clients, but if you're running your own lead gen sites, you're building rank and rent sites or whatever, these are ideal things to have, so to make your site and lead gen site look like a regular business, and that's what you want it to look like. So I think probably pretty much everyone knows Google My Business is pretty important, but not always easy to come by. Here's obviously what it looks like on maps. So you see some of the Google My Business listings. I'm sure you're all familiar with that. And Google's enhancing them. Obviously, the reviews and things are already there, but it's also starting to pull out new information. So there's an excerpt from a review there. It's also referencing keywords that are mentioned on regular websites, and Google's just developing the platform. It's something that's going to become increasingly important, even more important than it already is. So this is a case study I did with carpet cleaning franchise, a national franchise in the UK, and this is an example from one of the GMBs that I was optimizing. Obviously, they wanted to boost their inquiries and sales. It was following one of the COVID knockdowns that we had in the UK last year. And within obviously the work that I did, it was a full optimization. So went through all the different content on the GMB, post photos, reviews, Q&As, appointment link, services, product, geotagging images, a whole load of things that I go through in terms of my regular workflow optimizing a GMB. And then after that, regular posting, posts, events, and photos during the month afterwards and in subsequent months. So it was a full kind of optimization and management overlay. So I'm going to show you some charts here. I don't know how many of you will have seen these before. These are called Geogrid analysis, and this is a great way for you to look at how Google My Business is ranking on effectively a street by street, or really pinpointed location by location basis. So this is a map that covers a whole city of about 200,000 people, and you can see that this GMB is ranking well in the smaller area. As you go out not too far, it doesn't rank so well. And this is a great thing for you to analyze on your own site. It's a great thing to show clients because it's very visual and it shows where they are. So if we look at that's the before, and then this is the after within 1 week. So hopefully people can see that in more detail, but there's clearly significantly more ones and greens, and obviously you're in a very highly populated area. So the impact on that in terms of your traffic and your rankings is significant. So in terms of this listing, they went from being kind of average 5 in the area of the analysis to ranking average, and being the most popular, being the #1 ranked GMB. And this happened actually within the space of a week. So I just wanted to share this chart, which is showing the number of views on search, the optimization taking place, and pretty much a step change happening between 1 week to the next. And obviously I do a lot of work on SEO, organic SEO, and that's extremely powerful, but it does take time. Whereas Google My Business, you can actually get an effect to happen within days, within weeks. And it's very good if you're starting to work with clients or you're working on it on your own websites. You can have a a strong change fairly quickly. And obviously, it's great to be able to go back and have a look at this. This data is actually from the Google My Business app, so it gives you some insights. The other one was from a mapping software called Local Falcon, but there's many others that do those Geogrid analysis as well. So that was the step change. So again, from a return on investment point of view, listings were nearly doubled. Website visits went up 300%. Now, coming from quite a low base, 11 visits versus 33. But if those extra 22 visits, if half of those result in new business, it's a massive extra income coming in for this. This is just on one GMB. Phone calls also went up as well. So from the client's point of view, and if you're doing it on your own website, the return on investment was achieved within 1 week. So obviously I charged for the service, but the amount that I charged for that was completely paid for in under a week due to extra bookings and sales. And as I say, they went to #1 in the local area. So that's just going to give you hopefully a bit of a flavour there on how quickly GMBs can pop and make a difference. And I guess from my perspective, just sort of general comment on GMBs, they're valuable, and I think they're more valuable than ever. They work really well for your own site. They work really well, obviously, if you're helping clients, and they work really well if you're doing lead generation sites, because if you're a regular business, like a local plumber or a local accountant or an osteopath or whatever, electrician, whatever you are, you're going to have a GMB. So if you're doing a lead generation site, ideally you have a GMB as well. One of the main ranking factors is proximity. So if you possibly can, and this is where we come up a little bit against Google My Business, Google terms and conditions, if you're able to have a public address, that's good, and that will definitely help your rankings. However, Google is definitely cracking down on this, so they are checking people's addresses, and if you're registered at a virtual address or home address and you're showing it as effectively a retail or a place where clients can visit you, they may suspend your listing or ask you to re-verify whatever else. So you have to be very careful, and I'm seeing a lot of suspensions. I've had some of my own listings suspended. I had to re-verify. So definitely be cautious about making multiple changes on GMBs. If you change your name and address and phone number and or website in a short period of time, that may trigger a re-verification. So you may, if you have gone public on an address, it may trigger and ask you to re-verify, and Google might not have it public. So it's always a bit of a balancing act between the two. But if it's there, you might be better to let sleeping dogs lie on some of it and move forward. So obviously, if it's a public address, it's there meant to be a real premises, or they'll ask you to become something called a service area of business, an SAB, and that's really to cover people who might be like a plumber that works at people's locations and doesn't have an office address. But certainly if you have a public address, it is a strong ranking factor. But definitely be careful in what you do. Don't disrupt things too much at the moment. Be cautious. So that's my summary on Google My Business. A link that I'm going to pop up here, and we'll obviously take some questions in a second, but I'll just pop this link up. If you want to download this data and case study, here is the link now. So you go to go.ht/study. Keep that there for a second, and you're welcome to download that, and you can see the stats in a bit more detail.